Right. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you on to the third session of our free online fraud-related training that we've commenced about 3 weeks ago. So since today is the third session, I just want us to commence this session in earnest. But before I make a start, is there anybody here that can help us to just say, in few words, what you know about phishing, as an example? What do you know about phishing? I believe I'm not alone in this session. Am I just alone?
No, you are not alone.
Okay, I want to be sure that you can hear me. So what do we know about phishing before I make a start? All right. Okay, I think nobody wants to answer. I'll take it that maybe we are shy, but even if you are shy, don't worry. We've been there before, but at the end of the day, I know you should be better informed about what phishing is all about by the end of this course. So let's put it in presentation mode. Again, I will remind you and encourage you at the same time to invite other people, because this is a very good session, not just for women, but we know our women folks, because of the busy nature of things, there are statistics that are showing that they fall victim of this more than men. So that's why we focused it on them. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to benefit from it. Okay, so today, introduction to phishing is what we want to look at, which is our session 3. And as usual, we're going to cover introduction to phishing, how phishing works, red flags to watch out for, real life examples, and prevention tips. So without any further ado, I want to go into the first slide that I have. Phishing is defined as a scam that takes place online, whereby attackers, they impersonate a legitimate person or organization. They trick them into revealing their personal information, which, for example, to be your password, your financial data, sensitive personal details. Because if you know GDPR, because I'm in Europe, and GDPR is one of the things that we talked about. And GDPR, or Data Protection Act, we have it in Nigeria too as well these days. So what are they looking for? They're looking for your sensitive information. We call them PII, personally identifiable information, which sometimes it could be your date of birth, it could be your transaction details, it could be your gender, your race. By the time you mix all this together, it helps them to identify who you are or confirm who you are, and then it can lead to some challenges that you get in your account. You know, there was an example that AI was used in scamming an organization, and everybody looks real, and the guy was able to complete the transactions for them. So many things are happening these days. If you think it has not happened to me, what about people next to you that has happened to? So phishing is something that we'll continue to talk about. If you heard about Hush Puppy and the likes, how they pull their tricks. So those are the ways in which they defrauded people. During COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of monies were siphoned from America and many places. There are people that are supposed to be collecting money depending on benefits handout from the government. Some people legitimately used their information to defraud the government. And people tend to mistake this. They used to differentiate themselves from the government. We are the government. Government is out there to render services to the public without expecting any income or whatsoever. However, we notice that people just say, it is the government. It's not just the government, it's our money that people are stealing. So if you remember this, it is our responsibility to pass on this information today, because you now know that there are many ways people can become phished. And you can see on the left-hand side, you see that phishing rod and the bait there, and that is how it works. Somebody is out there behaving that they are legitimate and they can get your card details and many other things. So with that in mind, let's move on to the next one. What are the common techniques that they use? You cannot tell me you don't have an email address as you are now. You cannot say you don't receive links in that email, or you don't have anything that have something semblance to phishing. So let's break it down. The first one is email spoofing. Scammers, what would they do? They will send an email. It looks genuine, that is difficult for you to differentiate them from the original. Take, for instance, the @ sign, @ symbol, or the Latin letter of art, like R sound, R. So they will use it to replace letter A in some names. And if you don't look very well, you mistake that to be the legitimate email address, or rather the website. You click on it, and before you know it, voila, you have downloaded something in your system. So this application that you download innocently into your system, that is what they will use to collect information later on. So they look legit, maybe from your bank, they look legit, maybe from the government agencies, and you click on them. Fake links, like I've covered it earlier on, they will send you an email in the body of the message, and they tell you because you have applied for so, or maybe because you're a customer, and innocently you just click on it because they said, click on this link to process your information. The government is paying people several thousands of pounds, and you can be one of the lucky ones. Click on this link, and you click on it, is asking you for, it looks like Barclays Bank, HSBC, and you click on it, or First Bank, or GT Bank. It looks like them, and it asks you for your username and password, the typical things that they ask you. You supply it to that, and you are giving them your legitimate details. They have a backend repository where they're storing this information. That is the architecture of what is happening. They will have a front end. They send you an email which you click, and that message will go in between the line. It goes to them, and they store it somewhere. And that's somewhere they store it. They can sell that information. I've seen in Nigeria whereby data of people is being sent one each at 100 naira. By the time you'll be looking, it's very cheap. You know how many people that will click and ask for that data they are selling? Well, if it's 1,000, that is 100,000 naira they've made. If it's 1 million, you know what it means. So that's how they make full money without anybody giving it a kind of respect or attention that is required. Then it has that urgent intonation that if you don't do this within a particular time or period, your account will become suspended, or you can no longer do transaction anymore, or this will expire within a particular window. So you need to make sure you check that email, make sure you look at it very well. And if you're using Gmail these days, Gmail is the most attacked email address that you can get these days, because you see a lot of spams. And because of the spams that you're seeing, you can also check that against what you see with Hotmail or Yahoo. If you have them, you get all these kind of emails. They look like maybe legitimate messages, but make sure you check the email address and the content of the message. By the time you check the email address, it's enough for you to know that this is coming from an illegitimate location, and block that. We've talked about that last week. So what are the types of phishing that you can get? You can get email phishing. They send email to everybody, to a large number of people. So that's a generic one, which everybody just calls phishing. But spear phishing is targeted form of phishing, whereby scammers, they customize that message for specific people in an organization. It could be the MD, it could be the CFO. So they target them, and it appears to come from legitimate client or partners of the organization. And before you know it, voila, you click on it and you fall for it. You can see that guy there again, trying to spearfish somebody in an organization. So you have the generic one, which is just they spray, they say, we call it spray and pray. Spray and pray. So they spray and wait. They send the email out and wait for people that will click on it. That's spray. So this one now, spare is targeted at a particular set of people within an organization. Phishing, like I said last week, is voice-based. Somebody will call you and ask you questions about your organization that you're working for. And because they presented themselves to be XYZ, you fall for it and give them the details they require. And that is how people fall for it. And you can see there is smishing also. It comes in form of text messages. So on the screen, you can see, hello mate, your FedEx package with tracking code is waiting for you to set delivery preferences. And you see there's a link there. And I tell people, all our mobile phones that we're carrying, they're mini computers. You take your phone and you click on it. That is it. You opened the floodgate into your mobile phone. Or some of them will take you to a website, like I explained earlier, and you start entering your details. And before you know it, they will wire the money in your account, like they say. Okay? So for the phishing method, they impersonate your bank. They say, I'm calling for bank, whatever, and you notice this is also things on your account. You may not have received the message. We want you to do this because your account is being suspended. Can you move your account to this temporarily? And they do this a lot to our people that are not techie or tech savvy. So tech support scams, I've told people that have started this training with us that I've watched Beekeeper. If you haven't, please watch it. Beekeeper, one of my favorites in the movie industry. Jason Statham was the main actor in that movie. And a lady that is in charge of a charity-based organization as a CFO account was emptied. The account of that charity organization was empty because of tech scam. When they say blue screen of death, that we see blue screen that you're using your systems most of the time they are not infected. It's just that you've clicked on a Trojan, which takes over your screen and to look like maybe you have been attacked. And then they give you a number to call. And before you know, they ask for money. That's another way phishing is done. And Medicare, they can say, okay, because they have phished your account, they are able to get into it, they now send you something that looks legit. And you click it. Or you have the elderly you're looking after. And like when I was saying, they've taken hold of your account, maybe through generic email address they've sent out, you click on it, and that is where they will target you and send this to you. And when they send you, there's a number you need to call. You call the number, and they will phish you from there. And that's what we call that phishing. So remember phishing, remember smishing. Phishing is about phone call, and smishing is about text messaging, and look out for this at all times. The next one, we want to talk about key warning signals that you need to look out for. They send you something, you didn't request for it, but some of the times, some of us too, we are greedy. You want to reap from where you have not sowed. You saw a message like that sent to you, and they're saying maybe you should win £500, be one of the lucky winners, and you put in your details. They said, for you to do so, can you put your credit card number to confirm that account where they will send the money to if you win? And before you know it, you supply your details, and they just lie in wait. Remember, if they collect £1 here, £2 here from so and so many people at the end of the day, it's a lot of money in their account. So watch out for unfamiliar emails from email addresses that you don't have any business with. And that's why I say you should always click that from and make sure that email address is actually what it says it is. So emails from addresses that don't match official email formats. And I've told you they replace letters in some of those email addresses. If you don't look very well, you might not be able to decipher where they actually came from. Next is urgent tone, threatening language. If you don't do this within this time, we're going to close your account. Immediate action required or urgent updates needed. So make sure if it doesn't quack like a duck, it ain't duck anyway. So don't fall for this, their antics. So over your cursor, over the link, they send a link. So you see at the bottom the true email address or website where that is coming from. Most of the time is the website. Over your cursor on it, at the bottom you see to tell you where that is coming from, because the one that you're looking at is being spoofed. So that's what we call it spoofing. Suspicious links. So if you over your link on them, you'll be able to decipher where they come from. Poor grammar and spelling. I mean, they're getting better these days because they're using AI to craft phishing email. You can tell AI yourself. You can go to generative AI that deceive it. People will say, I want to train my organization on phishing scam. Can you develop or craft a very good phishing email for me? It's garbage in, garbage out. It's whatever you give to AI, that AI will pass on to you. And that's why these days we are talking about ethical usage of AI, because the bad guys today are using AI as well. So it will craft this kind of email for them and it will tell them how to launch it. Meanwhile, it is for the illegitimate reason that the guy is using the AI. However, the AI is giving him or her the tool. So we need to be careful all the time and check the spelling, grammars in whatever that we have received. And that tone of urgency, we should always look for it too at all times and make sure we don't fall for their antics, because they're getting better. They're using the same tool that we use as well. So grammar is very important. Hovering your cursor over the link and checking the email address where it's coming from. And if you're not expecting anything from anyone, do not click or even respond to such email. I've mentioned this last week. If you are still in doubt, but you want to confirm, why don't you just call your bank? They're just a phone call away to confirm whatever that you have received. Okay. Common scenarios, fake logins. If you look at this now, if you look at the left-hand side, which is the original PayPal page, if you don't use PayPal before, you'll not be able to decipher this too. But look at on the right-hand side. Look at the fake one. It looks almost like a PayPal. But can we all see that the pay has an iPhone in between PAL? So that is for you to see. And they say pay, and that's what it says there. But you can see it has PayPal on the page. But look at the link. It's not a duck at all. So for you, it might be screaming like I'm a duck, but it cannot quack. So definitely it's not a duck. So, and sometimes they request for verification of account information. They send you messages onto your mobile phone and they will call you. For instance, what we get these days, you see on WhatsApp, they'll claim that they have meetings. That's an example of when your account has been compromised. Fake alert about unusual account activities. They send you an alert instead of the bank, because banks these days, if you are where I am, they'll call you. Like right now, yesterday, my bank blocked some transactions which are legit, because the way they came and they said these transactions were suspicious, they declined those transactions and they called me. And when they called me, they were the one actually confirming details I need to corroborate for them. So that's the way it works these days. If he's telling you to do stuff, everything that is about money is not easy to come by. So you need to be very careful in parting with your money. You've worked for it. You've been entrusted with it, because they say too much depends on integrity. You need to guard it with your life. You need to double check always, and do not give your money to people that do not deserve it. Okay, example, fake bank alerts. If you look at my right-hand side, it looks like it's coming from where? National Bank. But look at, it says number 1, urgency. Please update your account details. It's telling you to do what? Update your account details. But this is not coming from that bank. It isn't. And there are many ways in which we can know. And you can look at the other messages they're writing there. They didn't put your name. They said, dear valued customer. The banks are better these days. They'll put your name. But because they're not sure, they're just spraying. And they put what? Nationwide there. And if you read the message, you see, they said they announced the new security updates. We are what? Upgrading our new SSL to serve our customers for a better and secure banking service. So you can see. And all these things are the things you need to look out for to make sure that you don't fall for the antics. And look at the website that they mentioned there. Look at the A they use, it's not the correct A. And look at the address, security advisor. So it doesn't have a name. So these are the things you need to look out for, because the victim receive an email claiming to be from their bank. And sometimes it will be a warning or prompting them to click a link to secure their account. Example is this one. It's warning this fellow to click on that link to secure their account. Or another one, COVID-19 relief, like I mentioned, a lot of companies were defrauded during pandemic. Look at the genuine one in the UK. Gov.uk coronavirus alert. New rules in force. Now you will stay at home. More info and exceptions at gov.co.uk. Stay home, protect the NHS. What? Save lives. Now look at this one. It's saying urgent, the UK Gov, you can see not gov.uk. UK Gov has issued what? A payment of that amount to all residents as part of their promise to battle COVID-19. They now said what? Tap this. You tap there. What is the next thing they'll ask you for? Your bank details. And that is how you fall for them. So we need to be very careful not to fall for the antics. Again, another one, tax returns. I have somebody that this actually happened to. Was not in the UK, received the message, and they said he asked for some money to claim from the HMRC. And he should click on this type of link. He clicked on it. And before you know it, they emptied his account. So you need to be very careful and look out for these tactics of the fraudsters. Okay? Impact of phishing. Financial losses, according to UK statistics. Phishing scams, they are what? One of the costliest types of fraud in the UK, and it leads to millions of pounds in losses. So you can see most targeted industries, according to Q4 of 2023. You see social media, they are the most targeted, others, telecom, crypto. So these are the places they go to get their victims. Victims are often experiencing significant financial damages because they've given access to their account because of the way they've authorized transactions unknowingly. So we need to be very careful and guard our account. Make sure you check regularly, and if there's anything you're not sure of, call your bank. So what are they looking for? What is the impact? Identity theft. Sometimes they just want to steal your details. Maybe they want to use your driver license to claim something, your passport, collect them, sell them on the internet, use it to apply for loan, and it will look like legit, because what they need these days, sometimes, and the banks are getting better, crypto-based organizations are getting better. They want you to put your license or your passport next to you and then take the picture. Before, you just need to send a copy. So now you have to place your credential next to your face and take a picture on your computer. So you want to match the face to the credentials that you have supplied. So they are getting better at their trade. So we too, we need to be swifter in the way we respond to them. Psychological impact. Many victims, they have reported to have started having stress. They are depressed. They are embarrassed, and they cannot talk to people, and they have trust issues after failing or falling for phishing scams. Because some people are very smart and they fall for this kind of things, and now begin to doubt themselves and say, oh, does it mean I'm not good enough? You are good enough. Anybody can fall for it. Hillary Clinton's account was hacked. Everything is in the public domain. Many public people of interest were hacked. So it does not mean you are not smart. But we need to talk about this, continue to talk about it so that we don't fall for it. Again, what are the prevention tips? Like we normally talk about this. If you talk about the topic, we'll give you prevention tips. So how do you stay safe? You need to what? You need to stop communication. Immediately you receive something like that, cease all contact immediately. If you suspect you are being scammed, stop that conversation. I bought a SIM card one time, and because it is from one of these MVNOs that people just drop the SIM, they resell the number, The number happens to have been sold to somebody before, and the person was using the number on WhatsApp and what have you. And when I plug it into my own phone, I started receiving message because the person wants to change something about his account, maybe the iCloud and all those kind of things. And the messages were coming to me. And he now called me, was saying, I received message. I said, yes, I received message. Can I pass those? I said, well, this is my SIM number. I don't need it. Should I send it to you? So, he was trying to argue. I just told him, I said, I can't send it to him because I don't know. Maybe he's not even the original line user of that number. So do not send money. If money has been requested, do not send your money. Refuse any further financial request. Make sure you stay safe and have some guardrails. If you know you cannot do it, get somebody to be your buddy. Additional actions. Install security software. If you're using Windows laptop and other, I don't think you should worry about these things because you have Defender on your system, because it is enough as your antivirus and anti-phishing software as well. But you must update it at all times. However, if the system is protecting you against this kind of attacks, make sure you do not put yourself in harm's way, because if you click on it, you have given them an open door into your secured environment. So avoid public Wi-Fi. I've been saying this to people. Don't go to public places and use their Wi-Fi. You just say because it looks like it's the name of the place. What if somebody sets up the same type of device nearby, and then you believe it's supposed to be that public name that you're using their service, but voila, you're using somebody else's. So we need to be very careful of these kind of things. So avoid public Wi-Fi. Educate yourself and others. Stay informed about phishing tactics and share knowledge with friends and family at all times. So what to do if you suspect you have been phished? Do not click the links or download the attachment. So if the message seems suspicious, avoid interacting with it entirely. Delete it from if it's in your email, delete it, and maybe you can even mark it as phishing for Microsoft or whatever you're using their email to enrich their database about fraud. Report suspicious messages. You need to report it. And how do you report it in the UK? UK resource, you forward phishing emails. You just forward it to report@phishing.gov.uk. It's easy as that. So they have more details on what they look out for as a government. Bank or financial institution, you need to inform your bank. We've covered this before. So if you already clicked, now you've clicked it, the first thing you need to do, I have clicked that link, I will go and change my password for the affected account that I know. Contact my bank or credit card organization to block all transactions that will be coming, or even tell them to give you another card. It's free. Monitor your account regularly to know what you have present and expected transactions so that there are no surprises. Next, I want to summarize in a nutshell what phishing is all about. It can take many forms, but it often involves what? Fake communication that appear legitimate. And you want to do what? You need to verify suspicious messages before taking any action, and avoid sharing your sensitive information online. And utilize security measures like multi-factor authentication. Put your mobile phone on your email address. Put your email address on your account, your mobile phone, set up MFA, and make sure everything works for good, so that if you want to make any transaction, they can easily get to you and send you OTP. So that is the way it works, and I believe it makes sense to everybody that has been listening to me. And what is the call to action that we have? Report phishing attempts to relevant authority. I've shared the one of UK to you. Share these tips with others. Tell people about this, and stay vigilant and cautious when communicating or transacting online. So that's the summary of what phishing is all about. And I don't know if there's anybody here that has one question or the other about phishing that we can talk about to dwell more about how this happens, or if you know somebody that it has happened to. The floor is yours. Any question, any contribution from anyone?
Um,
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, well done. Thank you very much. As you were saying and explaining the meaning of phishing, and if I want to ask, if somebody's account is being hacked already or is being fixed on, is it
Yeah.
possible, like you were explaining, that somebody can change the password? What if they've changed it prior to the time the owner, the authentic owner of the account, change the password? Is it not possible at their own end, since they are having the back end to store some information? Is it not possible for them to have changed the password at their own end before the authentic owner changes?
Okay, that's a good one. For every email, you can have they call it some alternate email address. So if you click on that, say you forgot your password because they have changed it. So you are using your original password that is not working. So just follow that process of how to get access to your account. So something will be sent to your alternate email address, but pray that they've not compromised that one too. Another thing is now that your mobile number that you've attached to it, which you call the MFA. So it will enable you for them to send you a PIN on your phone. Or if it's the paid for service, you can use your token because it's a bank like GTB, they have the token and other banks as well. So you can use that as an extra layer. Or if you can't do that, then you can call that organization. Even Gmail, Google, they have a number. You can call them or message them about your account and they can disable it and prevent anything happening from it, and explain yourself to them and they can help you. Those are the extra layer. They're like level 2 and 3 that I've mentioned to you now. But the first line is to try and change the password yourself through your alternate method, and then add your multi-factor authentication. Does that help?
Of course, it does. It does. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, Clifford.
yes, good evening, sir. Yeah, well detailed delivery on phishing. I've just learned a lot now. Refresher and everything to make me stay vigilant. Yeah, just an addition to in addition to all the tricks that they are using currently, as December is coming close. The same people are on the pro. They are looking to exploit all the weaknesses, all the vulnerabilities. One thing that is not common is called domain squatting. So, just to add to that, apart from, in addition to what our boss has said, there's what they call domain squatting. What they do, they just change or add one letter to the domain name, especially for big organization. So it could be a big organization like what example comes to mind now? Let's say
It could be any of the banks anyway.
yes, any of the banks. So what you won't see is that they've changed. So you have the union at the front of it. So what they have changed in there is maybe they might change the O to 0 or something, and you still think it's O. So you see Union Bank. So what people fall for is like, oh, that's the domain name anyway. No one else can register unionbank.com or unionbank.ng. It is not possible because once you own a domain name, you own it. But however, they are now changing letters in between, and that allows them to register a domain which is very similar to the original one. So also watch out for that one. I just wanted to point out. You're on mute, sir.
Thank you, Cliff, for that. That's very good because, like I was saying to you earlier on, that as he explained, they'll just change a letter from the normal one, alphabetical one, Arabic numerals, and the alphabet. They'll change it to the Latin one, so you may not even know. So you need to look very well. And the one you mentioned, that we'll call it typo squatting. So typo squatting, they will squat that legitimate email website. That's what he just mentioned there. So you can go online and check this as well and see what you are saying. Another addition I want to mention is what we call quishing. You will looking at what is quishing again. Quishing is like QR code. You know, QR code these days, they just say you should scan, you should just scan that QR code, and then you get to that website. So sometimes when they just come with legitimate logo, most of the time they do it Microsoft. You see Microsoft logo by the side there, and then the QR code is there. So you click on you scan it, and before you know it take you to an illegitimate website. If you don't look very well, you now start entering your details, your legitimate information. You can check on the internet, you see what I'm talking about. Phishing. I can quickly show you what I meant by that, so that you want to go home. You have learned a lot from here, because if we save one, we have saved many, because you go home and pass on the details. So now if you Google this, Phishing, QR code phishing, that's what they call it. Anyone you call it. So if you go to the image, see example, you can see the security authentication. For instance, that's what this one looks like. Imagine when you see this, you think it's genuine, and then you click on it, you put your phone, you scan it with your QR code, and it takes you to an illegitimate website. So that's the way it happens. And that is an example of the image, QR code, red phishing attacks, and how to prevent and all that. I'll send a link for you to have a look later. So there is phishing, there is spear phishing, there is generic one, and all that. You have phishing, you have smishing, and all that. So please pass on the information and let people know, because the more we know about this, the more vigilant we'll become. Because majority of our time these days, we spend it on the internet. And because if you're doing so, we're even having a machine that we're moving around, which is our mini computer, our mobile phone that we carry about. So if you are vigilant enough, we'll be able to curb a lot of these transactions of these bad actors out there, and remain vigilant at all time. By every means, let us do our best and pass on this information. I don't know if there's any other question from anyone for us to continue, and then see if there's anything that we need to attend to quickly. Any other contribution or question from anyone? Okay, no question, I guess. And again, I want to enjoin us, help us to subscribe to our YouTube page. I'll send a link now. Help us click on it, subscribe to it, and then so that we can continue to give you alerts on when we create more content for you to become ready against all these bad actors, because they are there. They are waiting to attack us. And we too, by the time we have more knowledge about how they behave, then definitely we are ready to prevent these attacks all the time. I'm sharing the link now. Just help us to subscribe to it, and then you get alerts when we release our videos. I will put link to the earlier videos too that we've done the classes. I mean, if you go to that website, you see the earlier videos that we've done, the previous sessions that you have missed if you have just joined us today. So we have 3 more sessions to go. Do not miss the next one, the one after it, and every other ones. So thank you for joining. Really appreciate your time. And then we believe we have even contributed another way into your daily usage of the internet, and to avoid your exposure to scams. Thank you very much. Without any further ado, I want to draw the curtain here and see you next Wednesday. Make it another time with us. Please click on the link to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.